When my wife and I started our own business, we immediately started looking for other people that wanted to partner with us and be part of our team. We had started our own business and had started making some income, and we were looking for some other people that we could help them start their own business. The proposition was, hey, we'll take our time, our energy, our expertise, and help you start a business of your own. You don't have to pay us anything to get started, but as your business grows, we get a small percentage of the profits of that business. It's a pretty compelling argument, I think. There's very little to lose and a lot of upside. We don't make a dime until we help someone else make a dollar, so our goal is to help you make a lot of dollars. Well, so we started kind of recruiting and finding some people, friends, relatives, just people that I met that I talked to about the business that we ran, and would see if they were interested. Some were, some weren't. And, some people, we helped them get started. What I discovered is that early on, I was kind of building a team with the wrong kind of people. We had not the sharpest people. They weren't really all that ambitious or hardworking. They hadn't had much proven success or initiative in their life. So I started thinking, okay, if I'm building a team, I want the highest quality people I can to be on my team. I started raising my standards when I would do interviews for who I was looking for. And the day came when I was out at the mall one day. I actually was at a comic book show because I had a comic book collection that I was looking to sell, actually, that I could invest to help grow my business. And I met a guy who was there. He was also a comic book collector. And I started talking with this guy. He was a chemical engineer, super sharp, multiple degrees, asked me what I did. And I said, well, at the time I was teaching at Miami University. But I said in my spare time, I run this business where I teach people to start a small business, run it from home, double and triple their income in their spare time. Well, he was pretty interested in that. And so we traded numbers, got together with him and his wife. She was also a chemical engineer. Right? Two really, I'm like, oh, Kathy, this is who we're looking for. This is the sharpest people we ever found. And put them through the interview process, and they decided they wanted to get started. So we came over to their house, and beautiful home. At the time, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment. And we're going to be mentoring this couple that lived in this beautiful, basically our dream home. But we knew how to start a business. They did not know how to start a business. And so even though they were older than we were and further ahead financially than we were, we did have some expertise they didn't have, and we were willing to help them. How often in your life is someone going to show up who's willing to help you accomplish your dreams and goals? It's not going to happen that many times in your life. If somebody gives you that offer, I recommend that you take them up on it, unless you don't have dreams and goals, and that's a whole different topic. So anyway, we go over that night, and we're going to help this couple start in their own business. I was so excited. I was so proud of myself that we found some really great, sharp people to be part of our team. And they were a few years older. They had a son. I think he was probably around 3 years old. And we're sitting at their kitchen table, and we're doing some paperwork to kind of get their business rolling. And this 3-year-old kid keeps coming up and interrupting the mom, interrupting the dad. He wanted some attention. And so I decided, hey, I got an idea. Why don't I go out in the living room and I'll take your son and we'll go out there and we'll just play and we'll kind of free you guys up to focus on getting this paperwork done. They're like, oh, that's so thoughtful. Thank you. I look at my wife. I'm like, hey, team player here, right? You and me working together. Nothing can stop us. And she's like, oh, thank you. And so she's kind of the paperwork specialist in our family, not me. I'm not really good with paperwork and details. And so off I go with this kid, and we're out in the living room. Well, this is years before we had kids of our own. I didn't know how to entertain a 3-year-old kid. I ran out of ideas pretty fast. At first it was like, oh, got your nose. Oh, yeah, that didn't last very long. Some knock-knock jokes. Those were going over very good. Oh, and then the always popular, I know how to take my thumb off. Oh, look at that. Thumb came right off. Oh, it's amazing. Well, that only keeps their attention for a minute. And this kid's getting restless. He wants to go back and bother his parents. And so I'm like, I'm just trying to entertain this kid and trying to keep his attention. And that's when I made a horrible mistake. I said the dumbest thing. I don't know why I said it. Clearly, I don't have kids where I would know better. But I look at this little boy, and for some reason, I go, oh, hey, what's that in your mouth? He goes, what? I go, there's something in your mouth. He goes, there is? I go, yeah. I think it's a spider. You have a spider in your mouth. Why? I would tell a 3-year-old boy he has a spider in his mouth? I don't know. I really don't. But I thought he might laugh about that. Ha ha ha. I thought it wasn't that different than I got your nose. You got a spider in your mouth. But you can probably guess what he did. He starts freaking out. This kid starts screaming. I got a spider in my mouth. I got a spider in my mouth. Ah! Ah! He starts screaming bloody murder. And now I'm like, oh, shh, no, I'm just kidding. Ha ha, just kidding. No spider. He's like, yes, there is. There's a spider. I'm like, no, seriously, there's nothing there. It was just a joke. I'm just kidding with you. Well, I hear in the other room, the chairs coming out from the kitchen table, and I hear the mom and dad are running out here. And I'm like, oh no, I'm making this poor child cry. So, imagine this scenario. The mom and dad come running into the room. The boy is screaming in terror and crying. And I'm saying, shh, it's okay. Shh, don't tell anyone. Let's keep this between us. Shh. And the dad looks at me and goes, what happened in here? What's going on? Really, he doesn't know me. I just met him like 2 weeks ago at Forest Fair Mall. He has no idea the kind of person I am. And you can just see on his face the horror and regret that why would I let this stranger go in the other room with my little boy? And I'm like, no, it's nothing. It's not. That kid is screaming. He is crying. And the mom is upset and the dad is upset. And this kid will not stop crying. And he is not going to stop crying until somebody takes that spider out of his mouth. But there is no spider in his mouth, so I don't know what to do. And Kathy comes and she's looking at me like, what happened? I'm like, I don't even know. And that's when the little boy said the worst thing he could have said. Maybe the worst thing anyone has ever said. He looks right at his father, and these are the words that he said. He put it in my mouth. No. And the dad looks at me, what did you put in his mouth? I said, I didn't put anything in his mouth. Yes, you did. He just said it. You can't trust him. He's 3 years old. He's an unreliable witness. Why? Well, then why would he say you put something in his mouth? I don't know. He's a liar. It's your kid. And I am arguing with this dad about whether or not I put something in this child's mouth. Well, clearly I put anything in his mouth. And so finally I'm like, no, he thinks he has a spider in his mouth. He thinks there's a spider. I go, no, there is no spider. He just thinks there's a spider. Well, why would he's never done this before? Why would he think there's a spider in his mouth? Well, because I told him there was a spider in his mouth. You told a 3-year-old boy he had a spider in his mouth? Yes, we were just joking. We were kidding. I thought it'd be funny. Ha ha, there's a spider in your mouth. Well, this kid, he is still screaming bloody murder. And his mom is like, there's no spider. She's rocking him. There's no spider. Yes, there is. It's in my mouth. And he's like, get it out. Take the spider out. Get it out. Well, obviously there is no spider in his mouth. And so they can't produce a spider. He is not going to stop crying until somebody gets that spider out of his mouth. He is screaming. He is crying. The dad's looking at me like, what kind of an idiot tells a boy there's a spider in his mouth? So finally the mom takes him upstairs. He's still sobbing and crying and shaking. And she's like, I'm going to take him upstairs to bed. She's crying. Tears running down her face. This tragic experience caused by me. And so she leaves and she goes upstairs. And me and Kathy are just standing there with the dad. And he said, I think you should probably go. And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't think that was going to happen. I had no reason to believe that. He goes, you should probably go. So we quietly gathered up our stuff, gathered up the paperwork. Kathy didn't say a word. I said, well, we'll see you next week, or, we can get together and talk about some strategy. And he's like, yeah, have a good night. We go out, boom, the door closes. We get in our car, our little 1991 Chevy Lumina Euro, and we start driving down the road on 275 back toward our little 1-bedroom apartment. And my wife looks at me and she goes, what's the matter with you? And I said, I don't know. And I felt like an idiot. You know why? Because I acted like an idiot. We never heard from that couple again. Lost opportunity. I don't know whatever happened to them. I know one thing: they did not become successful leaders as part of Joiner Enterprises. That's for sure. And oh man, did I feel bad. And here's the moral of the story: we have all done and said stupid things, just stupid things, right? Things that, like, apologizing for it doesn't even make it right. Things that make people look at you like you're a total idiot. And you know what I learned that day? Yeah, sometimes I am a total idiot. I make horrible mistakes, but you know what? I'm going to learn from them, and I have never done anything like that ever again. I can assure you, I've never told another human being that they had any bugs or arachnids anywhere near their face. And I took my lumps on that one. That, yeah, I did something stupid. And that stupid thing cost my family income. It cost me some of my pride, potentially could have hurt my reputation. Thank God this was before social media. This guy, who knows what he would have posted about me on the internet. But sometimes, guys, you're going to say and do things that are just totally stupid. You just are. And when it happens, you just got to try to learn from it and roll on to the next thing. And if nothing else, I got a story out of it. And hopefully this is going to help some of you guys maybe not say something dumb and stupid. Although, you know what? I think you're going to. You're going to say stupid things. I still say stupid things sometimes. But what I've learned is, hey, it's okay. You apologize and you move on. That a stupid decision doesn't define who you are, right? I still built a successful company. I still am asked to provide training and coaching for people, even though sometimes I can be a total idiot. And I do think part of the appeal of some of the training I do is that I'm willing to admit that I can be an idiot. That's why I really don't care when somebody is like, oh, I really like that guy. So I think that guy's kind of a dummy. I'm like, yep, I can be kind of a dummy sometimes. And having these kind of experiences have caused me to have some humility that I think is very effective in the kind of training and coaching I do. And so I'll challenge you to accept your dumb decisions, the dumb things you've said and done. Let that build your humility, and just move on and keep doing your best to live an epic life.